Okay, so I'm back at home after trying to find the drip irrigation supplies I was hoping I could get. I checked Lowe's and Home Depot, and they actually had some of the fittings that I needed, but they didn't have any tubing that actually had like drip, what's called emitters, where the water would come out. That would actually lay across the garden bed. So I ended up placing an order with an online company that I like called DripWorks to get some supplies. So it's going to be a few more days, probably another week, until I can actually install the drip irrigation system that I wanted to show you all. And so instead, I thought I would just walk through the actual supplies that I ordered so you could see what the parts look like, and help you try to figure out what you might need for your system at home. Okay, so if you saw my previous video, I did a little run through what I'm thinking about doing for the irrigation system I want to set up for these 3 garden beds here. And I want to just give you a little bit more detail so you can figure out what supplies you need. The nearest water source is this faucet right here, and what I don't want is to have a hose coming from here that's just kind of willy-nilly laying on the ground, can get kicked. I want the hose to come over and be secured up against the side of this garden bed so that it's not in the way, especially when we're mowing and doing other things around the garden. So bringing water from this faucet over means that I'm going to need to bring hose over, cut the hose, add an elbow connection here that is a plastic fitting that will connect the 2 hoses together, and then I'm going to run hose along this way, and then come along this side and up and then into the bed. And actually, I said elbow, but I'm actually going to put a T here because the hose is going to come over, and then I want a hose to come this way, and then I also want a hose to go that way to the next bed. So let me show you what those parts can look like and kind of what your options are. So there are a couple different sizes of hose that you can use coming off your faucet. Garden faucets have a 3/4 inch connection usually, and then either the hose can be a 5/8 inch or a 3/4 inch in diameter. So this hose here with the blue line is 3/4 inch, and this one here, the black one, is a 1/2 inch. The irrigation hosing, the third option is a 1/4 inch tubing, but that you would use for the lines that actually go across your bed and not the main line that's coming out of your water faucet. So because the Conservation District has these hoses in the office and we have so much of this 3/4 inch, I'm going to use that. Usually what you use to determine what size hose you need for like a home garden system would be how much water you want to get to your system, because if you start with a larger hose like a 3/4 inch hose, then you get more water to the system at a higher pressure quicker than if you go down to a 1/2 inch hose. And honestly, it really doesn't make a difference when you're doing a home system. That's more for farm size, where you're going to run into those challenges because you've got more space that you're irrigating. Okay, so these are the 3 irrigation supply companies that I've worked with in the past and find to be really useful. DripWorks you can order online, you can shop their whole inventory online, and you can place your order online, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive. They're located in California. Rainflow and Martin's are similar in price. Martin's is located in Liberty, Kentucky. It's a local. And Martin's actually gets a lot of their stuff from Rainflow. If you go to Rainflow's website, you can see their catalog online, so you can shop all of their stuff, but you'll be shopping it in PDFs of the what's available. And then with Martin's, they have their full catalog online as well. With these 2, you would be placing your order by giving them a call, and then either you can go pick up at Martin's, which is about a 2.5 hour drive from here, or you can have them ship your supplies to you. So I'm just going to open up the Martin's catalog. I ended up ordering from DripWorks because I needed to get the supplies pretty quickly, and Martin's has been a little backed up on their orders. So I went ahead and just placed an order with DripWorks. So I wanted to show you first of all, what some of these fittings can look like. So I'm going to be working off of that hard hose that I showed you. It's also called oval hose. And the fittings that I want to get are called power lock fittings. And I like these power lock fittings because they have a screw mechanism on them that allows you to, I'll show you, I've got one here. This is an end cap for a hose. It allows you to put the hose on and then screw it on and screw it off. And I find that they're easier to use and they last longer than the compression fittings, which is your other option for fittings. The compression ones are cheaper, but these tend to be, for me, easier to work with, and they just last longer, and I can, if I need to change something up, it's easier to pull a hose out and put it back together. So earlier when I talked about the fact that I was going to be getting some elbows, I ordered these elbows right here, and when you're looking at these things, you want to pick the right size you need. So I'm going to be using 3/4 inch tubing. So I went ahead and ordered the elbow. I needed 5 of them, so I ordered the 3/4 inch tubing. Actually, I needed 9 of the elbows. And then I ordered these tees as well. And I ordered 5 of those, and I needed the 3/4 inch again because that's the hose I'm going to be using. The other things that I ordered, I knew that I was going to need a connection from that oval hose to the actual drip tape that I'm putting on my garden bed, and I actually have some of those here. I already had those, the Conservation District already had those on hand. So those look like, oops, that's got a piece of hose on it. Those look like this. So you punch a hole in that hard tubing and this goes into that, and then this is where the drip tape goes on. And you can get these with a valve or without. I like to have the valve so I can turn that line off and on, so that if there are plants that don't need water in my bed as much or as often, I can turn those off while I'm watering other things that might need water more often. So I ordered 12 of these because I needed 4 per bed. I had 12 of these, sorry, I needed 4 per bed, so I've already got those on hand. Another item that I needed was those end caps, which I had, so I have 6 of these that are going to go at the end of the hard tube. I like to have the end caps for the hard tube because it can be hard to just fold over and clamp, but for the drip tape I don't get the end caps. I think they're a waste of money, honestly. And I can show you when I do the install how you can just clamp the ends of your drip tape. And I'm using drip tape, which I ordered this Aquatrax tape. The Conservation District already has this in big rolls because we work with a lot of folks to set up irrigation. So we get the 8 mil tape that has a hole every 8 inches that emits the water. It has a flow rate of a half a gallon per, actually they don't write if it's GPM per minute or per hour, I'm not sure. I'll make sure I look that up so I can let you guys know how to calculate your application rate of water. So that's the drip tape that I'm going to use. So basically the drip tape's going to be connected to that oval hose with this valve again. And then the only other piece I needed were this inline valve that goes between the oval hose to another oval hose, and I'm ordering these because I want one for each garden bed so that I can actually control the water as well, just for an entire garden bed. Like say I don't have anything planted in there at the time and I don't need to be watering it, I can go ahead and just shut that whole bed off, and then the other 2 get watered. So I ordered 3 of those because I will need those for the bed. And I actually ended up getting an extra elbow and an extra tee just in case I make some changes to my layout and need those extra, so I'll have those on hand. And then I'm actually going to use my drill to make the holes in the hose, because I've done this a lot and I know that I know how to do it so I don't come through the backside and I'm making a pretty big hole. But you can buy a punch, which is more less risk, I would say, to get a hole through the other side. And so you can order one of those as well, so that you can punch your holes into your tubing. Okay, and then very important, you will need a pressure regulator for your system if you're using drip tape. The tape that I'm using, it needs to have water coming through the system at no more than 15 psi. So my choices, actually, since I ordered from DripWorks, my choices were 10 psi or 20 psi, so I got a 10 psi pressure regulator. And where that's gonna go is you're gonna screw it onto your faucet and then screw the hose on there. So it's gonna reduce the pressure of the water coming out of the faucet down so that it doesn't blow out your drip system. And then I really like this crank timer. So instead of setting, having an electronic timer that's going to turn on the water, say like every day at 7 a.m. for 30 minutes or something like that, I like to use this crank timer because it's very important to not overwater your garden. And a lot of times, if you're not going out and actually checking the bed to see what the moisture level is, you might not know if it's getting overwatered or underwatered, for that matter. It's really important not to underwater either because your plants need the water. So this makes me come outside and check the bed and to see what the water situation is, and then what I can do is I can crank it up to 120 minutes and the system turns on, and then it actually shuts itself off. So this is a fail-safe, so that if you are one of those people, like something I did once, where I went outside and turned my drip irrigation system on and it was on for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours, and came outside and there was just pools of water everywhere, this will actually help you mitigate that issue. So this, you can order it from these companies. You can also, I actually got this one on Amazon, so these are great, and they actually do carry these at Lowe's when I was there yesterday. I neglected to share one other piece that I needed to get for my system, and that is how you're going to connect your garden hose to your 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch mainline hose. And so you can get this attachment. It's the female garden hose by Power Lock. So your hose is going to go on this side, and then the 3/4 or 1/2 inch hose connects here. So I ordered the 3/4 inch for my system because that's the size hose I'm going to use. Okay, so I hope that's helpful information, and if you have any questions about how to get supplies for an irrigation system that you want to set up at home for your garden, feel free to email me. My email is urbanagconservationist@gmail.com. That's URBANAG conservationist, CONSERVATIONIST@gmail.com. I know it's the longest email address ever. And I'd be happy to talk you through what you might need. If you wanted to send me some pictures, or we could FaceTime or something, and we could talk through it. And I'll come back on with a video on how to install the actual system once I get the supplies. All right, I hope you have a good day.